Hello, friends. Welcome to Nirmal Bang. I'm Piyush Jain, and today we are going to do a corporate conversation. We are now towards the end from the perspective of calendar year. Already December quarter is now actually coming to an end. Another full month yet to go by. September quarter has just finished. We have seen quite a good set of numbers from many of the companies who have appeared on our show, and that momentum perhaps is expected to continue. So now, today also, we are going to be talking to a company which has been on our show earlier, and we have heard some great news expansion from them. Let me now introduce the company, BSL Limited, and let me now welcome the management, Mr. Nivedan Churiwal, the managing director of the company. So, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
So remember from carrying forward from our last conversation where we were talking about how this time your a big expansion has been there, and due to that, actually now we're expecting capacity utilization to drive the revenue. We saw that in the first quarter to happen. There was a good jump in the revenue, and now actually we're looking at a second quarter, a continuation of the trend, almost 11% jump, if I say, versus the last quarter, 30% plus jump versus the last year. We actually have seen a good jump in the EBITDA also, 20% up versus the last year, 5% up versus the last quarter. So there has been, it appears that there has been a pickup in the utilization or the revenue. So I think the first question, let's start from there, that what's the sort of core reason of the revenue jump? Is it primarily utilization jump, higher volumes? How has been the volume growth? And what has been in terms of pricing development?
Well, you see, if we compare the first 6 months with the previous year's 6 months, we've had almost a 39% jump in turnover from 245 crores to almost 340 crores. And EBITDA from 24 crores has gone to almost 32 crores, which is again a substantial jump of almost 30%. Down the line, of course, we haven't been able to achieve the targets of PBDT and PAT. But even then, we had a PBDT of around 16.5 crores and a PAT of 4.75 crores against 7.81 in the corresponding H1 of last year. Now, the main reason for this growth is that we commenced the commercial operations of our cotton spinning project from 1st of April. And that has primarily led to the growth in the revenue. And as I said earlier, that this is going to be a growth driver for next 2-3 years because we expect a turnover of 200 to 250 crores coming from this project. And against our last year annual turnover of 470 odd crores, I had clearly said that this year we are expecting our top line to be in the range of 700 to 750 crores, and we will certainly achieve that. And similarly, at EBITDA levels, we are confident that we'll cross 70 odd crores, and then down the line, the corresponding profitability numbers will reflect. So the biggest growth has been the commencement of this 30,000 spindles. However, as we are all aware, due to the severe downtrend in the cotton market, when we had envisaged this project, cotton was at a cost. Cotton yarn being a cyclical business, it was at its peak, and by the time the project kicked off, the cycle had come to almost its bottom. So the last 6 months were very challenging. However, from October, we are already seeing green shoots of improvement, and we are very confident that our numbers going forward in Q3 and Q4 will be much better than Q1, Q2 numbers, and we will, as you have seen in the last 2 to 3 years, we have been growing quarter on quarter basis, and that growth trend will continue. So this is as far as the cotton business is concerned. Other than cotton, also we being a primarily export-oriented company, because of the Ukraine-Russia situation, then the Israel-Hamas situation, the markets, the export markets were definitely challenging in the last 6 months. There also things are improving, and domestic business has also been picking up. So overall, we're fairly happy with the performance in the first 6 months, and very confident the next 6 months will be substantially higher and better than this.
Seasonally, sir, which is a heavier half for you, the first half or second half?
Normally, we have a very balanced growth round. If you see last year, it was a fairly balanced growth. Typically, Q3 is very good for us. So generally, I would say at times Q2 and Q3 is very good. At times Q3 and Q4 is very good. So these towards the second, third, fourth quarter is always on the high better side. So as I said, so based on that, because you see, you have your Indian festivals, your global festivals, so everything put together, uh,
Mm.
generally it's slightly better towards the end. But overall, we're a very diverse company with very different and diverse verticals. So based on the same, we have fairly balanced growth. This year, of course, because of the downturn in the cotton industry, it was affected. But going forward, it will change.
And how's the pricing looking to you right now across your categories?
See, pricing's fine in the fabric business. There's not much of a challenge in the pricing part, whether it is suitings or furnishing. The demand is also good. The margins are also fairly good. In yarn and worsted and synthetic, worsted is pretty good. The main challenge is in the pricing in the synthetic spinning and the cotton spinning, and both are traditionally been interlinked. But as I said, from October, we can see the improvement in margins happening. So the demand was not a problem. We've always been running at full capacity. In fact, our biggest USP is that we always sell more than we produce, in the sense that in fabric we always outside 20-30% of what is more than our capacity. So as a unit, right from spinning, weaving to processing, we have been fully utilized all through. So demand was not a problem. The lack of demand was creating low margins, which was the main challenge. Now that is improving, and I see it improving further month on month or quarter on quarter basis, especially in the cotton and synthetic spinning segment.
Right, sir. And how much December quarter has been different versus September quarter? Like October month and November month have passed by. So in terms of this quarter, what has been the price movement versus last quarter?
Well, margins have improved by 4-5% overall. So if you see, that would have
Sir,
a
just to say, are you saying 4-5% or 400 basis points?
no, overall, there's a 4-5% improvement in the synthetic margins, in the spinning margins. That's what I mean to say. So,
Okay.
if that overall should create a very good impact in the bottom line more than the top line. But as I say, it's a very volatile. Even as we're talking, the yarn prices, the raw material prices, and the yarn prices are very volatile in nature and keep changing on a day-to-day basis, at times on an hourly basis. So that's what it is as of now, as we are speaking. Now, tomorrow it might be different, it might be higher or it might be lower. But based on the trend in the past 2 months, we are very confident that it will improve in a gradual manner going forward from here.
Right. And in exports, export markets, largely the orders, deliveries would have happened or the orders would have been already placed looking at a sort of holiday month. Like how the sort of client commentary has been in the export market in December quarter?
So again, and we have 2-3 verticals for exports. When one is where we export suiting fabrics, then furnishing fabrics, and then yarn. Suiting fabrics been pretty stable. It's been, I think, the whole year would be more or less stable. Furnishing, which has been a growth vehicle for the past few years, because we supply to giants like IKEA. There, of course, because of the situation in Europe, the energy crisis, and the downfall in demand, I would say that demand was at a low which we hadn't seen in past few years. That is again improving from October. And similarly in yarn also, we're seeing improvement in orders, improvement in communication and margins. So I would say, in the on the export front, across the board, across most segments, April to September there was sort of a lull, but from October we seeing improvements.
Okay, let me touch upon a bit from the perspective of raw material cost. We actually saw a bump up in the second quarter in raw material cost versus the first quarter. Was it largely inventory build-up in terms of raw materials, or there was a perk up in the raw material cost? Because that was the primary reason why 50 basis point reduction in EBITDA margin happened versus quarter versus the first quarter. So,
So as I
any
said,
trend there?
firstly, it's been highly volatile. That's been one of the major reasons. And yes, there was some inventory buildup, which will help us in the Q3 results. So these were the two main reasons. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I think in the long run, we'll be benefiting from that.
Okay, sure, sir. And let's go from there and talk about your other markets from the perspective of export markets. Right now, which geography basically is actually the main source of revenue for you
You mean which markets?
in the export market at present? Which geography is the dominant source of revenue for you?
Well, the good part with BSL is that firstly, we're not dependent on any particular vertical, because we have businesses distributed across spinning, suiting, and furnishing. And even and we are exporting in all these three segments. and we are exporting across all products to almost 60 countries. So the good part is that we're not dependent on any major country, which gives us a very good balance. Had it been very heavy Europe dependent, we would have been in trouble. Had it been very Middle East
Yes.
dependent, we would have been in trouble. So we have a very good balance. In suiting, it's predominantly a bit of Middle East, bit of Latin America, a bit of Africa. Furnishing, it's heavy on the European side. Yarn, it's a lot of Bangladesh and Turkey. So it's so very well distributed. It gives us a very good balance and helps us in these troubled times of war, which seem to be going on never ending for the past 1.5 years.
And where are actually we, sir, right now on capacity utilization? Because I remember in the fourth quarter we talked, the first quarter utilization had to go up, it went up. Second quarter again, basically it must have went up. So at the end of September quarter, where was the utilization, blended utilization? And right now, December quarter, where basically perhaps an approximation we are.
So capacity utilization, as I just mentioned, has never been a challenge with us. Our entire unit, spinning, weaving, processing, they're all running at full capacity, at 100% capacity. On the
Even
fabric level,
yeah, even the spindles, the capacity which we had actually expanded
absolutely,
recently.
new cups to 30,000 spindles which we installed in April. I'm happy to say that from June we have been running at full capacity. And
Oh, okay.
at fabric level in suitings and furnishings, we outsource almost 3 to 5 lakh meters a month because that's our total sale is more than a production capacity. So spinning, weaving, processing is all running at full capacity.
Right. And from that perspective, sort of what's the next plan? Because if everything is running at full capacity, are there any plans to expand capacity, or at present it's more about monetization of what you have already done?
You see, after a long time, we embarked on a ambitious growth journey, and that is reflecting in that results this year. We'll cross 700 crores. So it's one thing is very clear that we will continue this growth journey where we will be getting an average 15 to 20% CAGR on a yearly basis. The expansions might take on alternate years or whatever, depending on the market situation. As of this point, I'm not in a position to comment what would be a next expansion. Firstly, we would want the cotton project to stabilize, and then we'll work on the next expansion. But I can definitely tell you we are looking at 2, 3 avenues. Cotton, this was sort of part A. Once this stabilizes, we will possibly go in for next expansion in cotton. Again, this is at a very nascent stage. And we're also looking at some diversification into possible forays of into technical textiles and also expanding our furnishing business. So, as we speak, I have my hands in 2, 3 areas, and probably maybe next 6 months we'll decide as to what should be the next first step forward. So, but to sum it all up, we definitely consistent growth, 15 to 20% CAGR growth will definitely be seen in the company. Uh, which one would be next? We'll know in due course of time.
Right. And one perhaps parameter which I think investors would be watching out for is basically how the gradual reduction in borrowings keep happening. After recent expansion, I think it was natural that the interest costs should have gone up, and we had discussed it last time that over a due course of time it will come down. So in this year, sir, again, once again reiterating, in this year, any sort of plan of any gradual reduction in the borrowings, that debt?
Well, our repayments, majorly the new repayments start from end of next year. So as of
Mhm.
now, all the we have an impeccable track record where all our repayments have been on time, and that will obviously continue in this year and going forward. As the cash flows improve, we will probably look at prepayments to bring down the debt or use the cash flow for next expansion, which is a call we will take in due course of time. But definitely, as the cash flow is improving this year, we'll probably have a cash surplus of I don't know. 40, 45 crore, and next year it should be further substantially higher. And this year EBITDA would be 70, 75 crore or possibly 90, 100 crore next year. So as it improves, we'll use it either for repayment or for further expansion, whichever is in the best interest of the company and the shareholders.
Right. So basically 70 crores EBITDA, and we're talking about a sort of strong growth in revenue. That basically we are keeping up as a sort of a vision for FY24 ending. And perhaps from our side, we would like to extend you all the wishes for a very good December quarter and a sort of strong second half. And we perhaps will again get connected to you for the January quarter results.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking to you.
And dear viewers, that was about BSL Limited. Hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.